I've got a fantastic book for you to consider. It's called Man on Wire, and there's a film as well. If you like the kind of more moving picture side of things, then check out The Walk. And it's about Philippe Petit, who's French, and in 1975 he rigged up a high wire across the Twin Towers, which is a major achievement. And for me, studying people who perform optimally is a great way to really, find out from these role models what they were doing, because to do that is just an unbelievable achievement, and we haven't seen the like since. We also know from flow and optimal performance that it's not just an in and out state. So you can't just get to that high wire and just perform optimally. There's a cycle to it that you need to engineer. Just as you have to rig up the high wire and get a team together and visas and passports and everything else, there's a cycle you need to engineer, which is around struggle. There's a struggle phase. You have to kind of put some load on the bar to get strong and fit. Then you have to release that, otherwise you get stuck in that struggle sometimes. So release that tension and friction, and then you can kick into flow, and you must recover afterwards as well, because you can't get back around the cycle without important recovery. So there's a great plot to the story and the film. So what I've done is I've a bit of a geek, I suppose. I watched the film and read the book and went through and looked at that cycle and where did it appear? What was the narrative? Because it's a great narrative for a story, isn't it? You'll see it. Watch any film, any program on TV, and you'll see someone struggling, and then they have the breakthrough, and then they have a good moment, and then there might be a time to party and time off, and then they go through the struggle again. Okay, so this is before he even gets on the wire. Okay, because this is where the struggle really was in this story. The pain is excruciating. My muscles are crushed by the steel. My eyes are burning. My head is exploding. Immobility, zigzag cramps all over my body, and my patience has evaporated. And that's just part of the rigging process. So he hasn't even hit those high strides yet. Now we get to that kind of release stage. There's quite a nice moment where you can just start to see that tension and friction, which really builds for pretty much in book terms, for I would say up to about page 160 out of 200 odd. So it's there, a big part of it. But it starts to release. I turn, face the wire, and look down at the balancing pole. I dry the sweat on my palms against the side of my pants. With joy and fear, I whisper to Jean-Francois, as if we were both going to step on the cable. Let's do it, let's go. So you can really get a sense of that transition from all the struggle, sleeping late at night on the towers and all these great things. Then we're in the flow state, beautifully described. All of a sudden, the density of the air is no longer the same. Jean-Francois ceases to exist. The facing tower is empty. The wheel of the elevator no longer turns. The horizon is suspended from east to west. New York no longer spreads its infinity. The murmur of the city dissolves into a squall whose chill and power I no longer feel. And fair weather support is a great moment when he jumps on that wire. So watch that, just for that moment of flow. We have recovery as well in the film. You'll see them. They have a bit of a party, and he talks about his next move, what next, because it's such a really important. You go through this big project or this big moment or this big event. What do you do next? You have to recover to come out and get out the other side. After all I've been through in the sky, all I've been through under the ground, after all the questions, exhausted, elated, I deserve, I want the first step in my new life to be splashed with decadence, an explosion of passions. And it's no surprise he has some champagne. Good Frenchman. The other thing to mention is time, how he talks about time dilating. Now, when you're in flow, time dilates, it speeds up or slows down. So he had really good comments, I'll just chuck some out across the area. Time has no grasp in my thoughts. From now on, without consulting me, time accelerates. I, a bird gliding back and forth between the canyon's rims, did not count the voyages, nor did I care to record the passing of time. So, I can guarantee it's a good book and a good film either way, but if you're interested in that kind of areas of optimal performance and that kind of struggle, release, flow and recovery, Man on Wire, the film, The Walk, is an absolute cracker.